hope everyone out there is staying more focused than distracted and just enjoying this incredible ride that we are all on together. At the same time, happening right now, we're all on the same ride. It's incredible. So, what to look forward in your future relationship? What to look for in your next relationship? Just going to ramble on here for a little while, so bear with me. I don't know if any of you out there have ever noticed that sometimes when you're in a relationship, it can be any relationship, that it will bring something out of you. You know, if one person in a relationship is, let's say, the crazy, living on the edge, actually I should say if one person is more of the crazy, living on the edge, free, wild, free-spirited type of person, if that person is more like that than the other person in the relationship, even if the other person is also the same, but not as much, then that other person can sometimes wind up becoming what will come out of them will be this safe, be careful, more mature, more cautious person who they aren't actually. That's not who they really are. But because they're in this relationship with someone who's more like that, then those things will come out of them more, and then you can wind up becoming this person that you are not. So this is just a really quick example of how relationships can bring things out of us even more than what we actually are, okay? And it can also maybe not have anything to do with that other person. It can just maybe have to do with your ability to be yourself with that other person. Okay, which to cut to the chase, what you will be looking for, what we need to look for in our future relationships, the ability to be yourself with that person. Okay? So I think that's the greatest thing about being in a relationship, is being able to be yourself with someone else. Okay? Be accepted. That's what love is. Love is acceptance. So be loved, be accepted by someone else. Be able to be yourself. Be able to just get on with your life. Get on with your goals. Not wind up losing yourself in someone else, almost as if you found a relationship and you found this treasure now that you can just look at and adore and just become infatuated with. And in the process, you lose you don't put as much effort into an energy and attention into your goals, into your life. We all have to have a life. We all have to have our own goals. We can't be depending on someone else, as the source of all our fulfillment. Okay, we're all, even if you're a mother, a husband, a father, a daughter, a son, whatever roles you have, responsibilities you have, at the end of the day, the greatest and most important relationship is right here with yourself. Because, if you look at all these spiritual texts, religious texts, deep spirituality points to this concept that we are not who we think we are. And it might sound crazy, but I like to refer to myself, and in my coaching, and just whoever I just my way of living and my belief, and it's not just my own. Like I said, this exists in a lot of spiritual texts out there. Is this concept of, take care of yourself, not as in I am going to take care of I. It's more, when you look in the mirror, there's this body. When you look down at your hands, there's this vessel, there's this thing, and it has a name, it has a mind, it has an ego, it has a personality, it has fingers. There's this thing that is at the command of something greater, like almost an awareness, or, you could call it consciousness, or whatever you want to call it. But there is this thing that needs to be cared for, okay? And we can guide it. This thing will have impulses, like addictions. It will have cravings. It will be drawn to certain things. It's almost like a child, okay? It's incredibly free-spirited, and it's a beautiful thing. And athletes can learn to train it and then unleash it. Allow it to do its thing once it's trained, And that's when you hear people talking about being in the zone. It's not just athletes, it can be people who are giving a speech. They train how to do the speech. They train and train and train, and then once they've trained this vessel, this mind, this thing, once it's been trained enough, they are able to let it go and just do what it needs to do. Okay? My most effective videos and talks, and when I'm coaching people, are going to be when I'm able to also do the same. Just let it go. Just allow what needs to come out to just come out. But there is this higher thing. There is this awareness, this ability to question, to monitor, to almost police. And I've talked about it in my other videos. I believe it's like a never-ending layers of awareness, never-ending layers of observing. I hear a lot of spiritual people, or spiritual beliefs about this one awareness, this one observer that observes the, I don't think there's one. I think that it will be an endless, it's like two mirrors facing each other. It's just limitless. And it's just, when are you going to become aware of that observer? And when you become aware of it, then you embody it. Then you're able to sit into it and take that perspective until you find another layer behind that. So the layers are just endless, and I believe they come out of awakening. They're the result of awakening. And awakening can be caused by trauma. It can be caused by so many things. It doesn't have to always be caused by trauma, but it can be caused by suffering. The majority of time, it is caused by suffering. And I think that it's an interesting survival mechanism, our endless consciousness, because it's like when you're a kid, you walk around and you're just like, fire. You touch the fire, you get burned, you learn. Then something awakens within you, and you step into this higher level of awareness. Okay? And then that's like version 2.0 of you. And then you go along again, and you're like, fire, gotta be careful. But then you're like, look at that gorgeous girl. She's so beautiful. And then you go, or a gorgeous guy, yeah? He's so good looking. I'm going to try my best here. And then you go up to this girl and something happens, you get heartbroken. Then through that suffering you become aware, even more aware. It doesn't have to be just through love or relationships. It can be anything. Dropping something on your foot, a brick on your foot. So life is going to be full of these things, and the older we get, that's why it can become more difficult if you don't understand all this stuff, or not that you don't understand all this stuff. If you haven't had access, if you haven't heard all this stuff that I'm talking about, if you're not aware of these things, then the older you get, we can start to get worn down by life, worn down by fear. Because at the end of the day, that's what this is. The monitor, the police, the layer of awareness and awakening, I believe, is there as a protection. It's there to help evolve us, to help guide this vessel better, to make better choices, to make better decisions, despite the cravings, despite the addictions. The awareness is there, knowing what to do, okay? And then it's just a case of, being able to guide yourself out, away from the toxic habits and decisions, basically. So I hope everyone out there is following. And just to go back to the point of this video, which is how to pick your, how to pick your next relationship, or what to look for in your next relationship. At the end of the day, it's someone that you feel comfortable being yourself with, and not allowing your reason to stay in that relationship or go for that relationship to be a reason that stems from fear. What I mean by that, by fear, is like, oh, but I'm not going to find anyone else, or I'm getting older and she's so hot or he's so hot, but she's just so good looking. I know she's not like perfect, we're not compatible, but that's the big bargaining thing that happens in our minds when we meet new people, and then we can pay for it later on, So it is important that regardless of all the things that you're weighing up, that your ability to be yourself with this person is there. You don't have to be yourself 100%, all the time. That's why we have our own roots growing within ourselves. I was coaching someone the other day, one of my long-term clients now, and we were talking, we had a discussion, and she's she's sort of like gone back to her ex, but she's doing really well. She's been very strong. And I was just describing something that I've mentioned before in my videos, which is, to her, I was saying, look, when you're around him, don't let all of your roots grow into him, because the more time we spend with people, our roots can grow into them. So we have to be very careful what we're doing more of. If we're texting someone a lot, you have to be careful. You're growing roots into that person. If you're spending time with someone, you're growing roots. If you're spending time doing an activity, it can be anything, all right? So just be aware that we're like this beautiful, powerful object, this capsule, this organism that has these millions and billions of tiny little roots that are just, their job is just to go out. Just like a tree's roots, its job is to go out and seek power, seek energy, seek life, so that the tree can be nourished and fulfilled and be kept strong. So are we. We're like this body, and we have these invisible roots that are growing out of us. And I believe it's a mental thing that's happening. And just like a tree, those roots are just going out, and then they'll find something. And then they'll find something that will give them energy. And then it's up to us to decide and say, wait, is this a good source of energy? Is this going to be a toxic, stimulating, short, quick-term buzz high that's going to eventually dissipate and run out very quickly, and then leave those roots dead and in pain, Or is this going to be a long-term, something that's going to burn slowly? I like to compare it to the way I eat, my diet. I moved from a carb-based diet in 2007 to a fat-based diet. So I eat now things like avocados, good fats, salmon. I'm not going to go into a diet video here, but I switched from the carbs, the bread, the pastas, the sugars, all these things. They give you a spike of energy, but then there's a crash. And these fats, these oils that are good for us, they burn slower, and they last longer. So it's just an example of physical diet, but we also have our emotional, our mental, our what helps us feel whole from over here, from our heart, and it can be a person that can help energize us. It can be an activity. It can be anything. And it's up to us to make sure that our roots don't grow into unhealthy, toxic things, okay? And the best moment to do that is right at the start. Right at the start, when we meet someone or we start doing a new activity or we meet new people, new friends, whatever, if we feel that there's something wrong, we can usually we can detect it. Most humans have that ability through their experiences in life to be able to tell, okay, this is not going to be good for me. That's the moment to immediately cut off, because otherwise, if you continue it, our roots will grow in, they'll become stronger, and then breaking them, whether it's a person who was toxic for us and now there's a breakup because the relationship, inevitably failed, it will be so painful, and just those broken roots will take a lot longer to heal and recover. And our body has diverted so much of its resources and time and energy into building those roots that now all these tiny other roots, it's going to take them time to grow into other things, okay? So be very careful about what you look for in someone else and who you decide to spend more time with. Be very careful and mindful of that. And the ultimate person, as I was telling my coaching client a few days ago, the ultimate person you want to grow roots into is yourself. Grow your roots down into the ground. Make yourself strong. Don't grow all of your roots into someone else. Imagine if two people grow their roots into each other, and the wind can come and blow them away. Which is what happens, isn't it, when two people fall in love with each other? They have no roots down, holding them strong to the earth. They get connected, and then, boom, they're gone. Or you could have one person who has their roots in the ground, and another person who's got all their roots into that one person. So when that more grounded person says no, and it's over, then the one that had all their roots attached to this grounded person, well, where are they going to get their energy from now? Where are they going to get their wholeness and their nourishment and, their power and strength? People, this is why breakups are so brutal, and people feel sometimes like they're dying, or they felt like a huge part of them has just been cut out, because of that whole analogy that I explained, because of that. So it's so important, no matter what, even if you wind up going back to your ex, or if you find a new relationship, or if you stay single, it's so important to always have at least 50% of your roots, your attention, rooted in yourself, straight into the ground. It can be from activities that for me it's jiu-jitsu, music. And the best ones are the activities that last a long time, that you'll be able to do for a long time. All right? I might not be able to do jiu-jitsu when I'm 80. I might not be able to do certain things as I grow older. So, but music I can do. Be smart about what you're investing your roots, your attention. What drives your roots to grow is your attention. Where you put your roots is all dependent on your attention, okay? On your awareness. So you have this being in front of you. It's an amazing being. Be really grateful for it. Go and run around and just be like, yes, this is me. This is who I have. I have this thing, and I can do so much with it. And then you have your master awareness guiding. So, I think what to look for the most in your next relationship is someone that you're able to be yourself with, someone who doesn't bring out this twisted, untrue version of yourself, as I was talking about at the beginning of the video, where you just find yourself being this person that you're not. I remember in my last long-term relationship, I'm usually like the wilder one, the one who doesn't really listen to rules so much, and I kind of like can be cheeky, but this person was a lot more than I was in those things. So then I wound up becoming almost this like nanny and looking after this person. So which is not who I was. Okay. And this is common for all relationships, even if it's your best friend or whatever. They'll bring something out of you. And the relationships that usually last the longest and are the healthiest and are energizing are the ones that bring the best out of you, that you like who you are when you're with this person. I'm sure some of you have heard that before. And then, wow, what an awesome relationship if you both bring the best out of each other, and you both like who you are when you're with each other. In closing, someone not so long ago told me something that I really liked, and it made a lot of sense to me. And they said that the 3 key important factors about a successful relationship are chemistry, compatibility, and timing. I really like the first 2 points a lot, because I think a lot of us, we think way too much about chemistry, and we forget about compatibility. Or it can be the other way around. A lot of people, they think only about compatibility, but they don't think too much about chemistry. And a lot of people will settle for one or the other. And I see more people settling with chemistry, but neglecting compatibility. All right? And I guess the timing, what that was about is that, you could find someone who you're chemically perfect with. Like there's this spice and this attraction and this sexuality and this excitement, and this fun. That's the chemistry. And then there's the compatibility, which is that you guys understand each other. You're able to communicate. You have similar goals and interests. You have a similar way of life, similar ethics, principles. That's compatibility, similar way of life, yeah? Timing then is like when you could have both chemistry and compatibility, but then be at the wrong time in your life. Maybe someone's died, or you've just come out of a relationship, or you could be 90 and this person could be 13. See, I told you I'd come up with crazy, weird things. But you get my drift, right? So, to wrap this video up, I guess it's don't settle completely. It's okay to settle a little bit. Actually, it's going to vary on everyone. It's up to you what you're okay with. But the most important relationship of all, whether you are in one with another person or single, the most important one is right here. I promise you, people. I know it sounds cheesy, hokey. I know it sounds so spiritual and blah, blah, blah. Like, okay, the most important relationship is yourself. Blah, blah, blah. It really is. Because when you fall in love with yourself, it's such an incredible feeling. You start to buzz. Your energy starts to build and grow, and you become so attractive. Like it doesn't matter how you look. This isn't a physical thing. It's just going to be reflected in the way you move, in the way you talk. It's going to be reflected in just your vibration, your presence. You'll walk into a room and people will just be like, whoa, damn, you know, you're going to be charging yourself up, you know, and by doing that, you're going to be doing more. You're going to be drawn to the better things in life, and opportunities are going to come into your life more. And I'm going to wrap this up now because it's getting dark. All right, everybody. So it's good to be making videos again. I'm still trying to figure out where to put this camera. It's actually my computer, but I'm trying to figure it out. The old spot was okay, but I wasn't very comfortable there. So we'll figure it out. All right, everyone. Hope you're having an awesome weekend, and I hope this video helps. Adios for now.